You are listening to Lovesick, the podcast, where we dive into health, wellness, and relationships and their impact on the world. Come be a part of the discussion and join our community by following us on YouTube, Instagram, and listening wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Enjoy the show. Hello. Welcome to the Lovesick podcast. You're watching or listening. You can see my lovely face. It's Jada Ford. And with me is
Dorothea.
Hello, Dorothea, and we get someone special. Her name is Geanna Gonzales-Wood, and she studied so much, 30 years of her life in the healing arts world. What is that? We're going to find out. She is our lovely death midwife, and she's going to explain today, just what she does and this whole death midwife world, and we just want to get to know her a little bit more. So welcome, Geanna.
Welcome, Geanna.
Thank you so much. I already feel comfortable sitting here with you too.
And that's what we want.
Now we're actually on.
Yes.
So yay. Well, cool.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, always. So
Yes.
obviously, for the listeners and the viewers that we have here for our audience, what is a death midwife and what does a dead midwife do?
That's a really great question. So a death midwife, I would say, in my own terms, assists somebody who's dying and their family the process of dying. And me personally, I am a home funeral advocate. So mostly people that are on hospice, they're dying at home. And their families are surrounding them. A death midwife will come in and educate a family and support the person who is dying. And then also, being a home funeral advocate, we assist after the death as well. So a home vigil is then taken place. And it's a beautiful process for healing for everybody involved. And it really, it brings a lot of healing into the space. And, having your loved one there after they die is really, really healing in so many ways, because so many people die in hospitals, so many people die in accidents, so many people die in so many different ways, and their loved ones don't get to see them. They don't get to have that experience of seeing them anymore, And so it's a really beautiful opportunity that allows healing and completion for all those that are involved and for the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
So, mostly it's vast, right? But that's kind of like, also a death midwife kind of keeps the law away in a way, and I would say, keeps the law away. Like, you have this dead body in your home. You need to know the rules and the regulations around it. And here in California, we can have our loved ones with us in our care for as long as we want, as long as they are preserved. So then we preserve the bodies on dry ice. And, and like that, for those who desire it. There's this beautiful liminal, luminous field. It happens like right around death, and then thereafter, it's this beautiful, in between space. And, people, they're not there anymore. They're not breathing. Their heartbeat is, but the felt sense is there. And then, 24 hours pass and it's less. And then, 48 hours pass and it's less. And then 72 hours and you're like, okay, it feels complete. And there's something about the soul's evolution as well, giving the body the time to transition as well, and the spirit as it goes. I mean, not to get into, beliefs of this and that, but it really is a beautiful space to hold. And so.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
People are usually quick to be like, okay, well,
let's just clean this up.
Yeah.
Right,
Get on to the
right,
next.
yeah.
Come on, moving really fast.
Wow.
That's interesting to know that you can, I didn't know that California,
Yes.
they have a law that you can
Yeah.
keep your loved ones with you for, I guess, like you said, as long as the body is
It's preserved.
preserved. Yes.
Also, it gives, I think, people time. If you want more people to kind of come in, I guess that's your point of your at-home kind of
Yeah.
funeral.
Yeah, you have the yes.
To sit with them or say, pay their respects, but also say, like, at their own pace to kind of
Beautiful.
be with them
Yeah.
and say goodbye. Woo!
Well, I remember seriously back in the 70s when one of my classmates passed away, and they had her body inside their family room.
Mhm.
And this was where I grew up, and they had and that was the first time I had ever seen anything like that before.
Wow.
And I thought, really, at that time, I thought, wow, they have the body. It was kind of scary for me at first when I saw that. I thought they have her body in their family room. But now listening to this, which I didn't understand during that time because I was a teenager.
Mhm.
So I think I was maybe like 14 or 15. And that's when it happened because she actually went out to California, had fun. And I will never, ever forget this. She said to us before she left, she says, "Oh man, I may not ever come back from California." And she did. She came back in another form. Yeah. And I never forgot that. Never forgot her saying that.
Well, it's
Mhm.
interesting that you say it was scary to you and so curious because this is such an interesting field already to get into and something to practice already. So I want to know how you got into it, but then also how do you help people who are fearful
Yes.
of like passing away and death as a whole and their family members? I mean, that's a
It's a big deal because
Yes.
we all are really, I mean, really, oh no, I'm not afraid to die. But really, that's what really got me into it was my fear
Okay.
of how am I going to die? What, just my fear of death and there was also a curiosity around it too. But when I sunk in, I was doing a movement practice at the time and a lot of retreats around it. And they had this one about cycles, Gabrielle Rothworks, and that's a whole nother thing. But anyways, and well, that's a whole nother lifetime. And so I was like, wow, there was this tension in my body, and it was like, how am I going to die? What is death? And all of this. And I started to explore just that in the body and in my body and softening around it. And then, when you start to like plant things in your mind, people come into your field, right?
Mhm.
And this woman, Olivia Barham, she was my teacher, Sacred Crossings. I went to her school in the Palisades. Anyways, she still has a school. She's amazing. I highly recommend her for training death midwives, death doulas. And anyways, I went and saw her speak, and she had this beautiful, she's from England, so she has that lovely accent, and she had just filled me with love in my heart and a way to move towards death instead of resisting that fear. But the fear and intrigue is what brought me to the work. And as I'm in this field, fear, it's all over. People don't want to talk about it. I
Right.
remember my parents like being open about, we have the plan, we're going to die someday. And I would just be like, la, 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 la,
Yeah.
don't even say that,
Right. That was me, actually. That was me
Okay.
saying, I did that with my own parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay, all right, just,
I don't want to know anything,
Oh, that was me.
and then I do have tattoos, and my mom would say, and my mom, she loved me, of course, I'm her daughter. And she would say, and when I die at my funeral, I want you to cover your tattoos. And I was just so like, oh, Mom, you are so, that is just ridiculous. Everybody who knows you knows me, right?
Right.
And then I wore, I had like a halter dress on, and then I had this shawl that I wore, and my niece goes, I know why you're wearing that shawl. You know what I mean? To honor my mom's wishes. But
'Cause
anyways,
you have to do that.
you do. But
have
all
to do
those
that,
years,
yes.
and both of my parents are deceased. But and that's really sad. It's sad. It doesn't. The grief never.
Yeah. Both of my
goes away.
parents are deceased too. Yeah.
It's just no fun at
Yeah.
all. It's not any.
Mm-mm.
And so, but they would bring it up, and I would just go, "No, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it." Da, 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 da.
Right.
Wow.
And
That was me.
la, 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 la.
Yeah.
That was me. I just never wanted to talk about it.
So what was that turning point?
Yeah.
then? You-
So right,
Yeah.
there was a turning point, and I feel like my mom is the one who brought me into that process because I had gone to the lecture with Olivia, and I was wanting to start her training, and then my mom got sick with cancer, and so then I got to move in and dance with my mom in this process. And I had to support her where she was because there became a time where she was like, I don't want to do any more of this. It was miserable
Oh.
for her to do the treatments and things like that. And Olivia's work helped me meet my mom right where she was,
Okay.
and allow my mom to lean into the process of her death and her desires,
Mm.
And so being witness and assisting my mom in her death, I feel like now that was like our sacred contract,
Yeah.
And so she midwifed me into being a death midwife. I feel, it's
Okay.
like she's the one
Through her journey and
through
what you were
her
going
journey,
what you were
yeah.
going through.
And so to see that, it really helped me open my heart, lean into this experience
Right.
of death through her, and be more present
Mhm.
with the process, and that it's okay. It's okay.
Right.
Doesn't make it any easier.
Right. No, it
Doesn't hold back, negate any of the grief. And that's
Mhm.
all real
Right.
with it too. But yeah. So yeah, a lot of fear in the world.
Yeah.
A lot of fear.
I think it's also that fear of the unknown too, because people don't know
Yeah.
well, what happens.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's
Exactly.
I think that's a big part of it too, because you're just kind of going and being like, well, then what does that mean? So for me, it's like, it seems like you're there for the person that is passing, but then also for the family. So what are the different things that you do for the person that's
Yeah.
going to leave this earth soon, and the things that, does anybody ever have any wishes or things they want?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. So that's like where I gave you those handouts of, ideally, if we have our death directives and we have a plan and we have our 5 wishes, this is a really great pamphlet that you can get through the 5 Wishes Foundation. And this has all kinds of questions, all kinds of questions of your whole process, all your wishes, all your desires. It has a death advocate for you. So many different questions in here, right?
Right.
What music?
I was
do you
looking
want?
through it and I was
You
like,
know,
wow,
it's
that is
like
kind of
who do you
detailed.
ch- it's
What music
very-
you want? Oh yeah, that's
It's
a good
very
one.
detailed.
Yeah.
Very
it's just
detailed.
like, and then wishes for your comfort, of how, I had one client who was like, I want cotton sheets and I want just one light cotton sheet to cover me.
Oh.
And she wanted opera music
Oh, wow.
as she was dying.
Wow.
And all of that was honored because she had a plan.
She had it on there. Yeah.
And also having the plan and having your directives and having an advocate helps the family.
It does.
It helps the family. It takes the burden off of the family,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
They don't have to make the decision.
Right.
Yeah, because they know your wishes, which I think.
Right. Yeah.
Correct. They know your wishes. They know how to move.
Mhm.
Like I said, it doesn't negate any of the sadness or grief, but it allows the grieving, the family, to just be like, well, this is what they wanted, so this is what we do.
Right.
There's this documentary from Frontline. It's an old documentary, and it speaks to people in the hospital and doctors and people with different forms of illness and how they navigate the dying process. And there was this one family with this woman who was very, very old. And the mother did not have, she was on life support. So she had the tube and everything. So this was breathing for her. One sister was like, Mom would not want to live this way. Another sister was like, no, we have to, this is how she's alive. She's here. She lived this way for 2 years
Oh, wow.
until, and I can't exactly remember how it worked, how it was a documentary on like 5 different, styles. And this one, that was really painful to watch because really, God's will and beautiful, the medical industry, they can definitely save lives and heal wounds and broken bones and do miraculous things. But to be present with what the body, if the body cannot breathe on its own, the body cannot eat on its own
Right.
and function, then lean into. It's the path of least resistance. And so anyways, that was just an interesting, tidbit. And I know that happens so much because there wasn't a plan in place.
Right.
Right.
They didn't know her wishes.
Right. And it's also not, I don't want to say a selfish thing, but it's
Yeah.
like that one child being like, but I want to keep my,
Want to hold on.
yeah, my parent
Yeah.
here. And the other one saying, but that's not how she is. And it's kind of like,
Right.
but we don't know.
Yeah.
But it's also like the mom could have been like, I don't want to be here on tubes and things, but how would anybody know if we don't have this 5 wishes? So I'm holding this up so people can see it.
Yeah.
But
Your advanced death directive. So there's,
And that's the other one.
that's the other, the advanced death directive. And you can find these online. This one is just through the school. So it's, your funeral and and the disposition, how you dispose of your body and such.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a whole thing. This is a vast topic. It can go so many places.
Yeah.
But yeah, so an advanced death care directive. We have an advanced health care.
Directive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the advanced directive. But this is
Yes.
your advanced death
Yes.
care
Yeah.
directive. So that goes hand in hand with your 5 wishes.
Mhm.
And
Which is interesting because it's like we all have to go.
Yes.
And it's not a thing that we can all accept, but it's something that we all have to do. And I feel like, and I'm going to say it in a way, but it's like the way you plan your birthday and your weddings and, you know the way you plan, this is kind of the next thing too.
But I remember someone saying, and this is so true. They say you may cancel doctor's appointments and you may cancel trips, you may cancel other things, but one thing you can't cancel is death.
It's true.
Cannot cancel that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that deep?
That is deep.
Yeah.
What age do you, because you don't know, what age do you recommend people even
now?
Okay.
Yeah.
Once you find out about it, then you do it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter, it can, accidents can happen.
That's true.
And just bringing the conversation to the family, of like, hey, I heard this and this it is. So, maybe it starts, with the parents and then like the kids get involved into the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think there's too young of age to not talk about the process of dying and life and death. If you can talk about birth, why not talk about death, right?
I mean, it's the inevitable. Like it's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel like talking about it, it doesn't mean like it's going to happen, even though it will happen.
Right.
We just don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about it isn't like you're going to make it happen or
Right.
there's this kind of like thing around it. It actually gives you more peace of mind and allows you, for myself, to live more fully and be more present.
But you know what? You made a good point about saying talking about it won't, nothing's going to happen because you're talking about it. But do you think that most people are in that situation and that's why they don't talk about it? Because of the fear, and they thinking, oh, I don't want to talk about this because I don't want to even talk about planning because I don't even want to think about dying. So do you think that keeps people from actually planning,
Yes. Yes.
all the directives?
It's that resistance and it's that
Yeah.
fear. And we hold that in our bodies. And a lot of
Mhm.
times it's all in like our abdomen, this life force, right? And so yes, absolutely. I
Yeah.
had a client, a dear friend client, and she had cancer. And she knew what I did. And I was there with her, through it, and her family wouldn't say a word about it.
Oh.
As she was right there in her living room, dying,
Mm.
and so it was like she would just go, no, 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 to me, like, don't even, like, wouldn't even talk about it. And she just, she just died. And everybody came along in their own way,
Right.
Even one time, like, the daughter was sitting there trying to get her to eat. Oh, well, she ate, a chicken nugget. And I'm like, okay, but then they were like, well, she doesn't want to eat. And I said, well, maybe now is the time where she stops eating.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it just triggered the whole family,
Wow.
And because then the woman said, well, Geanna told me that it's time that I stop eating. And I'm like, you threw me under the bus. Really, it was time.
Yeah.
And it's just those little pearls,
Yeah.
But I feel like that was a stepping stone for
Right.
the whole entire family to go, oh. So it just had to show up in the ways that it did, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's interesting. Every situation is different.
Oh, I can imagine that. Yeah.
Do you ever have people talk about, I wish I did this, or I wish that I had more time to do this, or those kind of conversations with you? Or
Those conversations are had. People just wish for more time a lot of times.
Right.
Especially like with cancer. Like they're like, what? Wait, I just retired and now I have this lung cancer and I'm going to be dead in 2 months because it's so intense. Like, wait a minute.
Mhm.
I was planning to expand my, business, another business, and do this. I had this whole plan.
Right.
But now I have to just sink into where I'm at now. And so there's that.
Mhm.
Yeah. But there are things that there's a whole list of things, be with my family more, work less,
Mhm.
be with my family more is a big one, work less, don't sweat the small stuff. There's these 5 key things. I wish I knew them off the top of my head, but yeah, they're like the biggest one. And I would say work less,
Absolutely.
be with my family more.
Mhm.
Those are the top 2. And probably a lot of worry less too, right?
That's true.
Less worry.
Mhm.
yeah, no, those seem to
Stop and smell the flowers.
Yes.
Yeah. Because
Yes.
if you don't, you'll end up being wherever and not smelling them anymore. But yeah,
It's true. And I
Yeah.
think like, in a lot of the work that you do, there's this book right here, A Year to Live by Stephen Levine, and it's right here. And I want to do a meditation with you on the soft belly breathing, on how to just like to tap into your body, to release, just to meet the fear and the tensions. When you quiet your mind and sink
Mhm.
into your breath, you start to notice where you're holding tensions and all of this. And it really, just being with the breath and the body really, really assists. But this book right here, it's called A Year to Live. And Stephen, I think it's Levine, him and his wife Andrea, Stephen has died. Yes, here we go. So it's a wonderful book, how to live this year as if it was your last. And in here he speaks to forgiveness. He speaks a lot to forgiveness. And I think mostly it's about forgiving yourself. Always the self first.
Mhm.
so then you can forgive others and such. Oh yeah, right
Yep.
there.
Yep.
Oh,
Very
yes,
good.
okay.
Yeah, and that's the new cover. I've had my book for a long time. So
Okay.
it is a different color. Right on. It's so much. So in here, he speaks to fear. He speaks to letting go of control. He speaks to, I can just go, a lot of fear of death, a commitment to life. Because once you kind of contemplate and sit with, you know, uh, you contemplate, then you can commit to life in a bigger way.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean, our society is like grow, expand, put yourself out there, do all this stuff. But really, it's really about softening and just being in the heart and being a better person to yourself, to your family, to others. That's really, I think, what life is all about. We're here, and I think our connection, we're connected to everybody, all sentient beings. And so I think once you begin to lean more into the heart space, into self-forgiveness, into, contemplation of life, knowing, just in the back of your mind, remembering, oh yeah, who knows when, it's unknown, but I need to be kinder to myself. And in return, you're kinder to others. And I really think, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
In the big scheme of things, that is how we can prepare to lean into our death when it happens. It's a preparation,
Mm-hmm.
because if we all do have fear, but fear brings resistance and we contract. And I think that's important for some things. And I do think it's important. And I think we move through that. But once you can soften, then you can lean towards it and you can have, so they say, a good death or a good experience with it. Because I'll tell you, once somebody really lets go when they're dying, it is beautiful. It is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful process.
Wow.
Really sad, but really beautiful.
Right.
It's that, wow, just like, wow,
Mhm.
the sky opens up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
So you wanted to teach us some
Oh, yeah.
breathing,
So
or
what did you want to
Yes,
do?
okay, great. Okay,
want to learn this? Yes,
All right,
please.
Okay.
I have this microphone right in front of me.
Oh, you can. I'm gonna slide it out a little bit. I don't know.
I don't know.
Solomon, can we
I'll go
slide it
like
out a
this. No,
tiny
look
bit?
I can go right here.
Okay.
Okay.
I can do this to the side. All right. So is there anything else? Yeah. So we're good. Yeah. We've spoken to everything, just little bits and pieces of everything.
I mean, we
Okay.
can always come
Yeah.
back to anything else, but
Yeah.
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 I mean, I'm already feeling great about
Yeah.
some of the stuff. And
Yeah.
just really quick before we do that, I do want to say I remember when my grandfather passed away years ago. I remember my mom was like, I'm gonna live my life, because she had worked a lot. She was doing all stuff, and I remember that pivotal moment where she changed. She just was like, "I'm just
That's not my job.
Yeah, she stopped her job, and she was like, "I cannot live like this, because this is just not a life for me, and I want to live, And then we talked about her commercials
Yeah.
and
I
stuff,
mean,
but
because, honestly, I was in the corporate
Mhm.
world. Yeah. And had a lot of responsibilities, and it just took away so much of my time. And when that happened, because it was sudden, so when that happened, I couldn't bring myself to go back to work. And they were like, "Oh, take all the time you need, do this, or we can help you, or whatever." And that was fine for a while, but then I just could not get myself to go back.
Yeah.
I just said, "No, I don't want to do this anymore." And I didn't. Because of that moment, it triggered something in me to say, "You know what? No, I don't want to be out here going to work every day, and everything is work, 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 and no fun, 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 fun." No. And my dad was a very fun person.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
feel like I'm getting this hit, and sometimes those things happen, but I feel like it was like a final gift to you that he gave
Isn't
you.
it something? Yeah.
You know, there are final
Mhm.
gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was that fun type, actually.
Yeah.
He was the man,
Yeah.
right? Of making everybody, life just have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he retired, but he was always on the go, but for himself, but doing things that he likes to do, not because he had to do something.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? He had fun and he died early. He actually died early, but he had a fun life. He had a really fun life. And I thought, man, I don't want to keep doing this either. I don't want to keep doing what, just being in that world
Yeah.
of, go, 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 go. And that's it. And maybe that was my gift from him because I certainly stopped.
Because since then you've been
I've been doing
enjoying life and living how you want to live
Yes.
and stuff. So it's been very different. We actually had a conversation because you told me some between like September and December. It's
Oh no, I was talking about the ancestors right now of October. Is that what
Oh,
you're talking about?
yes.
When just like the other day. At
Yes,
class
yes,
we were
yes,
singing.
yes.
So the Day of the Dead,
Okay, right. That's what we're talking
Dia
about.
de los Muertos
That's
in Mexico, they have the Day of the Dead, which honors all souls, and it's this time of the year, Halloween. There's the veil between the world is thin. We're moving into the dark, and so all the souls and the ancestors, they're in the space. We're kind of still in that window because it was just this last weekend, and it was just Sunday, November 2nd.
Oh, okay.
And then it's kind of starts a little week before, a week after. They have like All Souls for your pets, kind of a day to honor the pets. I think that's on October 27th. And then you have Hallows, and you have All Saints Day, and you have All Souls Day. You have the day for the children, and you have, Dia de los Muertos. And in Mexico, they build shrines, and there's offerings, and they decorate the cemeteries gloriously. And it's a real beautiful celebration of the dead.
Wow.
You bring them their favorite foods, and the marigolds stand there, and they're an offering there. And so I always sprinkle marigolds on my front porch up to my
They're really
door.
nice flowers.
They're so
I
good
love
in
it.
this
They
time
are.
of the year.
Yeah.
I want to. I just want to bring up. Your mom
Yeah.
recently has passed and died, and I just want to put that into the space for you because that's fresh.
It is fresh because it was August 30th.
August 30th.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's very
just like,
fresh.
You're just like 60 days in,
Yes.
well over that.
Yes.
That's so.
Yeah.
That's so.
And that
nice.
was sudden. It's just ironic that I had two parents that they were divorced. So they, were not living together, but they both died suddenly and they both died in their homes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By themselves. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. And I keep thinking, wow. When we talk about it, I said, how ironic is that both of our parents, they died alone, died in a home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In their home.
And suddenly.
They were in their homes.
They were in their homes.
Yeah.
And yeah.
In their sleep or?
No, my dad fell to his death.
Okay.
So he fell doing what he loved. He went down the basement and he fell down the stairs and banged his head and it killed him instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom, she just died of natural causes
Mm-hmm.
and she was in her home.
Yeah.
And she wasn't asleep. She, she was, I guess, watching television or something.
Yeah.
And that was that.
Wow.
Yeah. But my dad was younger,
Yeah.
way younger when he passed away, but my mom was 88. Mm-hmm.
What was their names?
Garland and Ruth. My mom's name, Ruth. Mm-hmm.
Garland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to speak them and put them in the space.
I love that.
I love it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Mhm.
And it's a process,
It
it's
is.
a process, and you're
Mhm.
just beginning it. Just
Oh, yeah.
beginning
because it took me
process.
a long time with my dad, so I know this is fresh. So it's
Yeah, grief is if it's there's no way to do grief.
no
You just get to. I always say, feel, and express, express,
right
express.
exactly.
You'll be driving down the street, and you'll just be
That happens.
bawling your head off, and
Yes.
you're like, okay, and then you're fine.
That's right.
That happened to me on the way to class one of
Yep.
the days. I was passing a spot and a song came on. I was thinking of my grandma and I was
Yep.
like, "Woo," and it just all came out. And I went to class. And then I was
Yep.
just like, well, I'm
That's
glad I was
true.
able to sit in it for a minute. And then I
Yep.
just went to class and I was like, yeah.
It just moves through
Yeah.
you, and so you just have to feel it when it moves, and
Yeah.
it's in the craziest times.
Right.
A lot of times, though, I find it in the car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I find
Yeah.
myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe that's when it is because you're in your
Yeah.
own space.
Yeah,
like
you have
kind
your
of
own
just,
space.
yeah.
It's like you said, it's just different times. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, cool.
Okay.
Let's go through just a simple meditation.
Okay.
So just to speak to if you only had a year to live, where would you begin, right? To do this journey, right? Where would you to begin? And you would begin in the body and bringing yourself into your body to bring presence and awareness to this vessel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're spirits having this human experience. And so we get to feel this all right here, right now. And so to begin any type of journey into practicing or just preparing to die, it's about bringing it to the body, because really that's what we're losing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're, and not
That's-
even losing it, but that's what's dying really is the body.
Right. That is
So,
Yeah, we were talking about that.
all right. So yeah,
Okay.
So it's a soft belly meditation. We're just going to do a little snippet of it. Like we'll just do like 5 minutes. Is that
Okay.
good?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
great.
Just want to keep
Okay.
our time on track.
Mhm.
All right. So you're going to just find yourself comfortable, whatever
Okay.
that looks like. You can, however you feel comfortable, and then you just softly close your eyes. Bring your awareness and your attention to your breath. And you're just going to breathe in a few deep breaths. And you're going to feel this body you breathe in. You're going to feel your body expanding and contracting with each breath. Relax your jaw. Relax and release tension from your shoulders. And just focus on the rising and falling of your abdomen. And with each breath, your inhale, your belly rises. Each exhale, your belly contracts and falls, sinks back and in. Just stay with this and the sensation of rising and falling of your abdomen and your solar plexus, your stomach. Just a couple of breaths here. Inhale and exhale. And begin to soften around the sensations of the movement of your belly. And just see, feel, or imagine your belly softening, your shoulders relaxing, your jaw relaxing. Allow this softening of your belly to sink you deeper into your seat. As you soften the belly, begin to receive your breath instead of taking breath. And with each breath here, right now, being here, nothing to do, nowhere to go, breath and body. Experience this life in your belly. Moment to moment, soften. Allow breath to flow and soften more. If there was a mantra, it would be soften more. Your thoughts just come and go. Allow your mind to just sink down and into this soft belly, into your breath. Softening and softening more. And in this soft, gentle, relaxed space of the belly, on your next inhale, invite in healing. Invite in the space to live life fully. In this soft belly, this vast spaciousness, discover and hold an unbounded nature of love, self-compassion. And deepen your breath, staying in that soft belly. Letting go more into that softness. Another deep inhale. One more deep inhale. On your next exhale, begin a gentle transition, coming back to the space. And knowing that this practice, you can take this with you any place, any time, and it will expand into deep relaxation, deep awareness, deep presence. And you'll find that at the end of the day, you are still alive and well. Breathe into that. And then receive a deep breath in. On your exhale, simply open your eyes.
Feels good. Did you
really
feel,
good.
yeah.
I just felt like somebody was in my body, or something, like moving it around or something. That was weird. Guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really, I was
Yeah.
like, felt like I was moving, like
Oh,
something was-
Activated.
yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Does that happen?
We'll feel, you know,
No.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Just, yeah. I mean,
That's, yeah.
No,
Literally. It felt
yeah.
like something was like jigging me, like moving me or something.
wow.
Maybe it's because you just were within your inner self. You don't really get to
Yeah.
Correct.
do that. So,
I
So
know.
when you
Yeah.
drop in, you do feel tensions and you feel in a stillness, there's movement.
There it is.
So, you know, so
Yeah.
that inner movement. And it could be nervous system because this practice, it brings you to the presence of your body.
Yeah.
It brings you, once you move from all of that, you know, fight or flight, the sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system, that place, it brings you into that parasympathetic nervous system that's calming, brings you presence, brings you into the heart, brings in self-compassion. So that little buzzing and moving around, the more you sit here, you know, this could be a 15, 20, 30-minute
Right.
practice.
yeah.
But it's just dropping in and continually to just drop in. It's just soft breath. You just
Yeah.
soften. We hold so much hardness.
Jeez.
And the best thing around that is self-compassion and self-love.
Mm-hmm.
As this guy says, says, have mercy on yourself.
Yeah.
That speaks to me.
Right.
Yeah.
That speaks to me.
Wow.
Woo.
We had two meditation
look at
sessions
that.
this week.
Yeah, we did a
Oh,
meditation
really?
this week.
We had a one on Monday with one of our poets
Our
and
in-person
author.
thing that we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a meditation too.
We
and
did a
I had
meditation
community
Monday.
event that we
That's
did.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, hey, maybe that's what's up next for y'all.
Right. Well, anyway,
Yeah, exactly.
I would love to thank you, Geanna,
Yes.
for joining
Thank
us. And
you.
as always,
That's so
Ooh.
cool.
we learn so much when we have
We
guests that come
do.
on the show, and
Yeah.
thinking that you are going to teach a lot of people. And I also want people to take, if anything, what would you like people to take away from this
Yes.
podcast today?
I think the biggest thing would be, you know, begin the conversation with your family, dip your toe into the water, and maybe get a 5 wishes. It's a place to start.
Right.
It has the questions. Or pick up a book. You know, there's Die Wise by, oh gosh, the name. I knew this was going to happen. There's so much out there.
Right.
Here's what I could say. You know, this Stephen Levine, awesome. But yeah, begin the conversation. Begin an inner contemplation around it. How do you want to die? How would you like it when you die? What are your wishes?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just a conversation and a plan.
Wow.
And a plan. Have a plan.
Have a plan.
This was a great show. I always feel like I'm in a class.
Me
when
too.
We have our podcast. Like
Same.
literally, we feel like we're in a class because we learn so much when we have different guests on.
Yeah.
I mean, we walk away.
Die West.
There it is.
Yes, Stephen Jenkins. Wow.
Thanks, Solomon.
Solomon is the man.
answer yes.
Yes.
Stephen Levine, since you're so good at what you're doing over there on the other side, Stephen Levine also has a great book called Who Dies. That's a great one as well.
Ooh.
So those are just some basic little tidbits of places to start to read to dive in.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
And I can give my email if anybody has any questions.
Go ahead.
Yes, please.
It's my name spelled out, Geanna Gonzales-Wood @gmail.com without the hyphen in the Gonzales-Wood. And that's a way if you have any questions, if you want home funeral, support, even if you don't have home funeral, if you're in the hospital or wherever. I'm an advocate for home funerals, but most of the time, I'm open to be present, to assist a process, to educate, to hold a hand, to listen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it from Geanna.
Yes.
She gave you her contact information. And we had a wonderful time. Thank you for the meditation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the enlightenment, the education. And thanks for watching.
Thanks for
Lovesick
watching,
Podcast.
everyone. See you later.
And listening.